I'd now like to call up the next panel, Theo Chino from the Social Democrats of America.
Thank you. Dear Councilman Sanchez, my name is Theo Chino, and I serve as the first secretary of the Social Democrat of America, also known internationally as the Committee of the Second Socialist International. We are the socialist faction inside the Democratic Party. Given that I only have 2 minutes, I won't waste time with diplomacy. Let me be clear, this bill is racist, paternalistic, and a textbook example of systematic governmental racism. No matter how you spin it, as a collective, your actions are perpetuating racism. The bill should be known as Aunt Jen and Uncle Tom bill. The only way third-party transfer program can work if it's paired with Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act. This would ensure tenants are the true beneficiary, not some shady non-profit set up by developer with questionable intention. The deed should go to the tenant themselves, period. Why are these nonprofits allowed to raise the rent on rent control and rent stabilized tenant while private sector is prohibited to do so using Title 15 of the Finance State law? I speak from experience. I am a resident at 640 Riverside Drive, a building that was transferred on the TPT program following City Council Resolution 105 back in 2003. Urban Homesteading Assistance Board, or UHAB, received the deed for $1 in 2004 from Neighborhood Restore. Fast forward 20 years and $100 million later, and the building still hasn't been transferred to the tenant as promised. Worse, our rent is set to skyrocket from $400 in average to $2,000 starting tomorrow, October 1st. It's attached in the documentation. According to the documentation of the rent is going to also subsidize actress Rosario Dawson's mother apartment on 13th Street. For 15 years, tenants in my building have fought to expose the corruption with the TPT program. Nearly everybody involved has since retired, except for UHAB lawyer Anya Irons and their director Brent Sherman. As usual, new face, plead ignorance. We've seen it here before. Please allow me to continue, I'm very quick. Corrupt HPD commissioner like Anne-Marie Hendrickson conveniently vanished after being exposed in the last hearing back in 2019. At this point, it's just not my story. It's the story of countless black and brown tenants who repeatedly reached out to the Department of Investigation, the FBI, the Attorney General, the District Attorney of the 5 boroughs, and the Department of Justice, only to be ignored. Let me reiterate, the title should go directly to the tenant, not some nonprofit set up by shady developer. Brent Sherman from UHAB advised an above-income tenant to apply to Section 8 to be denied, and in 10 years, when he retired, to visit Sean Abreu's office explaining it was political. Since UHAB has made this issue political, the Social Democrat of America have launched the Rep My Block program to educate citizens about partisan politics, whether Democrat, Republican, or independent. Through this, I've seen firsthand how organizations like UHAB and Riceboro have infiltrated the New York City political and journalist sphere. To combat this, we sponsor a documentary, County, now available to stream on PBS. As a socialist, I firmly believe tenants who want to become owner should receive the deed through fair means and organize via limited liability corporation or nonprofit that pay its fair share of property expense. However, allowing shoddy organizations like UHAB and Riceboro to hold the title is nothing more than an extension of corruption. It's no surprise UHAB support this bill. It provides them a lifeline to hide what they have done to the residents of 640 Riverside Drive, 644, and countless others. This bill, if allowed to pass as is, would only perpetuate the legacy of racial redlining initially set up by the bank to prevent black and brown community from building wealth. We as the Social Democrat of America are committed to educating the public until all these racist liberal policies are dismantled. As for me, starting tomorrow, I will initiate a rent strike as tenant in what I can only describe as a criminal enterprise. I will be demanding a full accounting of where the $100 million has gone, and I'm available to answer any question you might have.
Thank you.
And thank you for the opportunity to say all that.
For Mr. Chino, would you be, so you would be supportive of a version of this legislation that only included tenant ownership?
The thing is, I'm for legislation that get the path of the bill to the tenant, a entity that will be controlled by the tenant, and not by nonprofit UHAB, who then says we're the owner, and in fact you're not the owner. And that's what happened at many tenant association board, that they discover 7, 8, 9 months when they start questioning why are we spending on Ethernet cable in the building, and they say, oh, we're the owner, we came up with that, and tough luck, there is nothing you can say to no. And in my case, because I'm very inquisitive, they actually changed the bylaws of the board to make sure that there would be an element that would create dissension inside the tenant association. So they would say, they would come back to you like today, oh, we couldn't work with this building because the board is not together. And we heard that many times over and over. And I would be for any bill that gives the power to the tenant who wants to go into a third party, but where the nonprofit, the for-profit, or whoever entity is around, the CTL, the tenant are the real decision maker that can say yes or no. And if there is a problem later on, the sponsor can refer to the court to say, we need this to happen, and the tenant are not understanding that, but instead of the other way around.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much all. Appreciate it.